What's going on, Alabama fans? This is Brandon, aka Fresh, back again with another video, guys. I told you, dropping the heat, guys. Y'all know what to do if you're watching this, listening to this on YouTube. First rule of thumb: smash the like button, hit the like button. That is the price of admission, and the price goes up. Like my man, what's my man name on the wire? Price of the brick going up, guys. All right, 1,000 likes is the minimum. All right, I think I gave y'all a break on the very first one. I think I said 500, 750, 1,000. That is the minimum. Go ahead and hit the like button, smash the like button, share this video with your friend, your favorite Alabama fan and friend, as we continue to go, because this one is absolutely fire as always. I'm trying to give y'all some heat, guys. Got to get y'all through the lows of the summertime. All right, so a lot of conversation has been going on regarding this conversation, or talking point rather, as it relates to who is the top dog in college football as it relates to the head coaches. Nick Saban has been on the top of the throne for, it seems like, for the past 10 plus years. All right, ever since he came to Alabama, not just came, but reestablished that Alabama is a prominent, dominant program by getting its first national championship in 17 years when he won in 2009, the 2009 season. Came back, didn't get it done the next year, but the following year got a back-to-back. Could have been a three-peat, but I digress. All right, 6 national championships later, Nick Saban has been atop of the mountain as it relates to college football. However, there's been a new talking point, wondering just who, or if Nick Saban has taken a back seat. And taking a back seat to a protege of his, someone who came underneath him, got his start in coaching, big time coaching, especially as a defensive coordinator, got the head coaching job at the University of Georgia. That man being Kirby Smart. And I'm gonna give y'all my thoughts on this, and I'm gonna answer the question that I've posed to y'all, whether or not has Kirby Smart overtaken Nick Saban as the king of college football head coaches. Well, let's back up just for a second here. Let's really dissect this for a moment here. So, Nick Saban has been at Alabama since 2007. He came in when the program was just, Mike Shula tried to do his best. Never really should have gotten the job in the first place. If Mike Price didn't have a situation in Gulf Shores, who knows exactly what would have happened. Whether Nick Saban would have been available or not, because Mike Price, definitely knew how to coach. Washington State did some really good things there. Was about to bring a nice little air attack, run and shoot, and we never really got to see it materialize. I was actually a student, went to the A-Day game in 2003, and there was so much excitement. At that point, just getting 40,000 people to show up to an Alabama A-Day game was a major deal, and it was around that number. That didn't happen. It didn't manifest itself. We all know the story. Coach Kroon was the next in line, or at least interviewed, didn't get that. Mike Shula ended up getting the job. He just wasn't ready to be a head coach. Wasn't really head coach material. From talking to players that were on that team, that coach that played underneath him, tried to incorporate an NFL type environment. You play, you perform, you're good. Just didn't run a really tight ship, so it didn't work out. Fizzled out really quickly, actually. Not everything was his fault, of course. Didn't really have a full deck of cards to work with, but that's just part of it. Nick Saban, he comes in, puts a little sprinkle of magic dust on the program. Voila! It took 1 year basically, gets Alabama into the SEC championship game, falls to just an absolute train of Tim Tebow and the Florida Gators. But after that, he pretty much won the national championship the next year. Hasn't really looked back for the most part. Being able to capture 6 national championships in his tenure. That's a feat in and of itself. All right. So you have that dynamic where you have someone that has taken a program that not many people, they wanted the job, but not really. Alabama was not the sexy job and the high job that it is now. I think the name spoke for itself, but the mess that Dennis Franchione and Mike DuBose and everybody's even before, Mike Shula even got there, which is an absolute mess with scholarship limitations. Nobody really wanted to deal with that. So you had all that going on. Nick Saban comes in. He knew it was going to be a tough road. Had a lot of entitlement issues. Players that thought that they didn't need to fit into what he wanted the program to look like. And Nick Saban was the type that, look, man, I'm getting $32 million over the next, I think it was 4 years, right? Or is it 8 years, $32 million? I got a $32 million contract. I don't know who y'all think y'all are, but I know who they think I am, and what they think that I'm worth $32 million. All right. So who do you think they're gonna back, me or you, if you want to try to buck the system? So there's a lot of players who kind of bucked the system, and he had to set the tone for not just the 2007 season, but for the seasons after that. That you can and will be replaced. I don't care if you were the top receiver returning. I don't care if you were the top defensive player returning. I don't care. You will be replaced. So Nick Saban had a lot of things in his that weren't really working in his favor that he had to kind of clean up, and he built that program completely back into the top of college football. Now let's take Kirby Smart, who, after assisting Nick Saban into another national championship in 2015, took over for the Georgia Bulldogs for the following season, 2016. And he did as best as he could to try to take all the tools and the tricks that he learned from being around Nick Saban, from LSU to Miami to Alabama, and incorporate that into the Georgia program. And you're seeing it play out right in front of your eyes. So if you're just an SEC fan, not necessarily a Georgia Bulldog fan, if you're just an SEC and a college football fan, you can see the imprint that Nick Saban had on Kirby Smart. And I applaud Kirby Smart for taking that and taking all of what he saw as, okay, these are things that have been proven to work. And I know Alabama fans kind of give Kirby, a hard time for, kind of copying a lot. But, what do you expect him to do? Even Nick Saban addressed it as like, well, he came from a program that had a pretty good proven track record. What do you want him to do? Reinvent the wheel? Yeah, he's going to put his own twist on stuff. But, this is the blueprint. I gave him and any other coach that's coached for me the blueprint. All right. So Kirby goes to Georgia for the 2016 season after, Mark Richt was let go. And it was unfortunate because Mark Richt actually did a pretty good job overall in his tenure at Georgia. But, you can't please everybody. 10-win seasons are cool and all, but at some point they're kind of expecting you to, win SEC championships and, not kind of wet the bed, so to speak, get to the college football playoff or either college football playoffs or the BCS championships prior to that. And he just wasn't able to get it done. And they felt like a change under the guard was necessary. So he gets there 2016, they go 8-5. And mind you, this is after back-to-back 10-3 seasons that Georgia had, okay? So it wasn't as if Kirby Smart was walking into an absolute dumpster fire, similar to what, Nick Saban, was not. He wasn't walking to a complete dumpster fire because Mike Shula took those bullets for him, but, it wasn't exactly glamorous, but he knew that he could probably turn around. So Nick Saban comes to a situation where, Alabama goes 6-7 the year before, and he walks in, and they go 8-5. Excuse me if I don't have that correct, and I believe they went 8-5 his first year after the bowl game win. So I'm trying to give and set the scene before I actually give my answer. Okay. Now all of that makes sense. And this is where it kind of gets a little bit interesting because Nick Saban just won his sixth national championship with Alabama in the 2020 season. All right, the COVID weird all SEC schedule, which was actually kind of fun season. Very difficult when you look at all the things that took place that season. He missed games with COVID. It was just a big whatever. It was just a whole lot going on that season. But just everything kind of aligned perfectly, just with a wonderful offense, a lot of leadership. He comes right back the next year, and I'll be honest, we will never know, but if injuries didn't play a big part, the way that national championship game unfolded, if Alabama just had one more receiver, just somebody to step up. My Lord, just anybody to step up to help Bryce Young in that offense, you're looking at Nick Saban running it back, with a brand new quarterback. And then last year, if Alabama doesn't, screw it up against Tennessee and LSU, they sneak into the playoff. Is it beyond the realm of possibility to believe that Nick Saban could have squeaked out and beaten when Georgia was good. Georgia was really good. They weren't 2021 good. 2021 team, that team was just, it was phenomenal. The fact that Alabama was able to beat that team said a lot. I think, Alabama just snuck up on them in the SEC championship game. They wasn't prepared for the kind of stuff that Bryce Young was just able to pull off with Jameson Williams with that ridiculous speed. They just didn't know what to do. So I think it just kind of snuck up on them. But, Alabama didn't have much of an answer in the championship game. But we'll never know what would have happened had Jameson Williams not gotten hurt in that game, which was unfortunate for Alabama. But here's just the truth, though. You look at what Kirby Smart did and the way that he has structured this program, okay? He has taken the blueprint of culture that Nick Saban, in my opinion, he kind of, just try to ride the wave of comfort after winning that 2020 national championship. All right. You lose Steve Sarkisian to Texas. You bring in Bill O'Brien, which again, I don't even know why that was even a thought, but anyway, I digress on that again. Pete Golden, you held on to that. You wanted to, fit a square peg in a round hole, knowing that he really didn't fit your culture and your mentality. Okay. But you were just kind of hoping and praying that things would just continue to work out, after such a majestic season that took place in 2020. All right. Didn't really want to rock the boat and make much changes, tried to, sell us all some wolf tickets, believing that we all, as, people in the media and fans, that, we don't really see what's right in front of us. But, Kirby Smart kept things, trucking along. And you see the type of dominance that he was able to instill on both sides of the ball, especially the defensive side. And this is one of the things that, I have an issue with and have taken an issue with Nick Saban, with some of the comments that he's made regarding, these explosive offenses, you just can't hold teams to 10 points. Yet Kirby Smart does it in back-to-back seasons. So what's the explanation on that? And yes, that was a pause for dramatic effect. What's the explanation? How can you explain, the same style of offenses that Alabama has faced and giving up 30, 40, 50 points? Georgia goes in there and surrenders hardly anything, So I felt like that was just a cop-out and an excuse from Nick Saban. And for that reason, and that reason alone, for the time being, and I gave compelling points, I thought, for how you can make the argument that Nick Saban could stay on top, but at the moment, back-to-back national championships speak for themselves. Now, y'all may not like that, but that's just the truth. At the present moment, Kirby Smart is at the top of the mountain of college football as it pertains to head coaches. Period. Now, do I think that will stay? I think that Nick Saban has taken the necessary steps to get back on the throne. It's not as if he's, 2 rungs down. He's literally like nipping at the heels to climb right back up. He might actually be on the shoulders, hanging on the shoulders, not even the heels of Kirby Smart, saying, hey, I'm right here, Kirby. Don't get too comfortable. All right. I let you off the hook. You got lucky in 2021. I'll give you 2022. I let some stuff, go by the wayside that I shouldn't. But I'm still right here. I done got, a defensive coordinator that's in the same mindset and vein that I'm in. I got a young offensive coordinator that understands that I want to run the daggone football. All right. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to get back to what, the standard that I set in 2007, when you created this process that he talked about after winning the championship in 2009. This is a process. All right. I think he kind of lost a little bit of that after the 2020 season. That's just my opinion. But we're going to see. This season is going to tell the tape, because if Kirby Smart comes in and does something that Nick Saban has yet to do while he was in Alabama and has a three-peat, there is no conversation. He is at the top of college football until he is knocked off. All right. The only one that can regain is Nick Saban. There is nobody else that's even in this conversation at the moment, because the only coaches who have been consistent up to this point has been Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, unless Urban Meyer, comes back into the mix. And I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So I don't know. Am I tripping? Am I on point? And do I make a good claim and case? Y'all be the judge. Y'all got a comment section right there. I'm a big boy. I can take it. Either you agree or disagree. You have your opinion. I have mine. But don't just say, oh, that's stupid, and you don't say nothing. Let's have a conversation. Tell me why, and we'll come back and we'll discuss about it. Okay? All right. Well, that's all I got for y'all on this video. Make sure you like this video as well if you're listening to it on YouTube. Like all the rest of our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Run us up on there. Remember, this is 1,000 likes on this video. I ain't dropping another one until I get 1,000. I need that grand. All right. I need that stack, them racks. Rack me up. All right. All right. So again, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel as well. Definitely want to run these subscribers up, because I'm dropping content constantly. All right. I told you I ain't slowing down. Y'all picked the right one. All right. But again, I appreciate y'all tuning in. This is Brandon, aka Fresh, signing off.